Episode 6. You're a Pharisee. The Lie That Obedience is Legalism series title, Sabbath Under Fire. Exposing the 8 lies that deny God's commandment. You're a Pharisee. You're being legalistic. You're just like the Jews who judged Jesus. That's the accusation tossed at anyone who dares to obey God's commandments, especially the 4th one. In today's watered-down Christianity, obedience is mocked, and lawlessness is glorified. And anyone who upholds God's Sabbath is labeled a fanatic. But let's expose this poisonous lie. If you obey the 10 commandments, especially the Sabbath, you're a Pharisee and a legalist. First, let's define a Pharisee. The Pharisees were not condemned for obedience. They were condemned for hypocrisy. They preached the law but did not keep it. Matthew 23, 2-3. They nullified God's law through their traditions, Mark chapters 7, 9. And worst of all, they rejected the lawgiver himself. So here's the irony. When you obey Jesus, the Pharisees hate you. When you obey the Sabbath, the modern Pharisees call you a legalist. But what does Jesus actually say? John 14:15. If ye love me, keep my commandments. That's not legalism. That's love. 1 John 5:3 says, For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Obedience isn't legalism. Obedience is the evidence of grace. Paul says in Romans 3:31, Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid, yea, we establish the law. And James warns, Faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only. James chapter 1:22. Let's talk about Jesus and the Sabbath. He didn't break the Sabbath, he clarified it. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, and taught truth, all within the law of God. When the Pharisees accused him, he answered in Matthew 12:12, It is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days. Jesus never abolished the Sabbath. He defended it from their distortions. He called himself Lord of the Sabbath, Mark 2:28, not to erase it, but to show that it was made for man's blessing, not bondage, Mark 2:27. So ask yourself, if obeying Jesus makes you a Pharisee, then was Jesus a Pharisee? If keeping the Sabbath is legalism, why did his disciples keep it after the cross? Luke 23:56. If obedience is dangerous, why will the saved be described as those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus? Revelation 14:12. Here's the truth. Legalism is trying to earn salvation by works, but obedience is the fruit of salvation by faith. We don't keep the Sabbath to be saved. We keep it because we are saved. It's not about pride. It's about submission. It's not about tradition. It's about truth. So next time someone says, You're just like the Pharisees, ask them, Which commandment am I breaking? If Jesus said keep his commandments, who are you following when you don't? If obedience is legalism, is disobedience holiness? You see, the real Pharisee is not the one who keeps the law. It's the one who pretends to love Jesus while rejecting his words. That's not grace. That's deception. And God is not mocked. Prove me wrong.